Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk HE episode 4. You're here with me, your host, Jack Turley, and I'm joined by Level 6 graduate in film and screen production, Christopher Godson.
Hello there, nice
The
to
most
meet
holy
you.
name I've ever heard.
Yeah, exactly,
Is
right?
there anything behind that?
Literally, it is just comes from my ancestors, basically.
Yeah.
That dates back to Viking heritage, basically.
Does it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like Scandinavian and and all that. So that's where it really dates from.
I think everyone's got some sort of Viking ancestry somewhere.
Well, you'd think so, especially here in the UK. Scandinavians, pillaged and all that, didn't
Yeah.
they? So you don't know if you're Anglo-Saxon or Viking these days.
I hope the audience are happy. We've finally branched out from talking to graphic design students, and we're finally onto the fun stuff. We're finally
Yeah.
talking to film and screen production. So, how does it feel to be graduating?
It feels a bit surreal.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like it's not quite happened. It feels like I've got, say, I'm coming back next year and things. So it doesn't feel like it's quite hit me just yet, but I think it'll hit me in a few weeks' time, per se. But I'm quite excited to where the future is going.
Yeah, of course.
And I think just pushing forward to the future,
I guess
really.
that's why you do this, isn't it? The whole point.
Yeah.
It all leads up to what you do when you graduate. So.
Yeah, 100%. Everything that you take away from here, you want to put into the real world and just keep developing your skills.
Yeah.
Literally in film, everything is continuing to evolve at such a fast rate. So, yeah, have to keep doing that.
So your course is 3 years. It's been 3 years you've been here.
Yeah,
right?
3 years, yeah. So when I actually initially came here to actually find out about the course, they initially said 4 years or 3 years, depending. And they turned around and said, with the quality that you've got in terms of like your organizational piece, that you've worked with like, hundreds of people, because my old job used to be a customer trading and operations manager for a retailer.
Okay.
So I would help manage over 100 people throughout a very busy day, throughout a week, having all schedules done, very, very fast paced. So everything's always on the move. That's quite similar in terms of like, production with film. You want to keep the ball rolling consistently, keep everything moving forward, everything's organized. You're trying to plan for every possible scenario that may happen. And I think that also links to just a natural talent that I have for that.
Yeah. So that foundation you didn't need. You're already like clear of that. So
yeah,
it's like,
in ways.
it's 3 years.
I think sometimes you develop those type of skills when you go into the real life world, where you're trying to be in a fast working environment, which I do recommend people try to get a part-time job in a fast working environment, no matter what that is, whether that is like hospitality, that is retail, or even in this case, it could be a garage as well, because even they actually have that sort of stuff. So you develop those skills just quite naturally, and you find your own system, your own rhythm, and then it's you being able to have that ability in yourself to be able to evolve and evolve with the times as well. So it's like film, for example, we're facing AI at the moment quite a lot, and not just in film, but obviously in other areas of the world.
Everything.
Exactly, even graphics.
Yeah, we've touched on it.
Yeah,
We've touched on it before.
this is it.
But it's not as. Well, I'll say maybe in graphics it is a bit more scary, to be honest.
Yeah,
There's only so much you can do in films with it, like with the script writing and stuff. Where AI is obviously like utilised wrongly, but in graphic designs it's massive because it's such a small thing. So you can make such small things just off using AI. And
yeah. I mean, like you say, you just touched on AI with script writing and things as well. Like I literally did a paper written on it for towards this final year. Like, will AI replace screenwriting? And and through terms of like the research of everything that I've gone through academic journals, and looking at in terms of what these scientists and people that are involved in that technology, they don't think at this moment in time that it's actually going to completely take it away, because yes, they may turn around and actually write scripts, but the AI is actually fed scripts that have already been written by other writers or those other artists. So all it really knows is trying to understand what emotion is, and it understands how to write stories a certain way with a certain genre and a certain style of how things are written to be projected on film. But it will never really try to understand the core emotions of a human being, those life experiences of what we as human beings live every single day. It will never feel that. It will never have that at its core, whereas we are quite unique individuals and will always have that. AI won't go away. It will always be here. But of what I found out is that we can use it as a collaborative tool and aid us with what we're doing, whether that is screenwriting, whether that is actually creating certain shot lists, even just bouncing ideas off it, because sometimes you want to have someone there in your corner to bounce some ideas off quite quickly. So if you're feeling quite creative, you've got that idea and you really want to just get something down on a page, and you brainstorm and everything, and sometimes you feel a bit lost and you can't quite piece the puzzles together. Sometimes that AI can turn around and thinking, well, you've already stated this and this, how about you look at this section? And sometimes it can help you identify a gap in what you're trying to look for, what you're trying to create. But I would never let it write everything that it wants. I would not let it turn around and think, yes, I'm going to take everything that you say is gospel in terms of what viewers would actually want to watch. I know quite recently Google have brought out a brand new video package. I believe that is like $200 a month, I think, something like that. I think it's called VO, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks really interesting. However, a lot of it seems to be based on, from a social media aspect of where whatever they're typing and they're creating, it's like someone's holding a phone doing almost like a selfie and those type of videos. But they've said, they type in and create a cast of Batman and Robin together doing an everyday life and things like that, or do some adventures. So you can see bits and bobs where their costumes are a little torn and then they're different, their body shapes change, the symbols are not on there as well, for example. So, that kind of thing still has a long way to go, I think, in terms of what I've read about. It still has a long way to go. I don't think it will replace filmmaking. However, I do know that film productions are investing more into AI, and I can see why they would want to do that as well. I think they want that for the production value as well. From I don't want to say that they're wanting to cut corners. Obviously, don't work in the big production company, so I can't per se what they're thinking. But I think any company, whether that is in film or not, they're all looking into investing in AI in some form or fashion. And we as human beings have to keep evolving and adapting with those times.
Yeah, that was something we touched on. Did you go to the Rankin talk in Leamington Spa, the photographer?
No, I didn't.
No, it's funny because like what you said was exactly what he said. It was like don't make AI like the whole piece, but learn how to utilize it to your advantage.
Yes.
But you've got to keep those core human values of your work.
Yeah, it's scary at the same time, and I think everyone feels a bit threatened by their jobs and stuff. I mean, obviously with the research I did mainly around script writing, it was more mainly specifically around the American market at the time, like the WGA, for example. They have a signed agreement up till the middle of next year where they end up revisiting in terms of that format, making sure that everyone still gets the equal rights of pay and things. They need to specifically state to a writer whether they are to use AI or not, to completely stay clear of it as well, all those different things. So hopefully everything still turns out okay next year for writers and things like that moving forward. But not just writers, even directors, even the camera department, like DPs and things, they've got Now, AI machines, where you can get the most perfect crisp shot every time, you could just tell it what type of angle you want, what type of shot you want, and this robotic arm with the camera will completely move, and it'll be the same exact angle at every single shot every single time. Because obviously, us as humans, we can't get the most perfect shot every single time, but this will be 100% accurate, like all the time, moving and things. Unfortunately, I don't have the name of what that is. I've seen it on videos as well, but I do hope that humans are not completely like moved away from being able to operate cameras and stuff like that, because some of the equipment that you have for cameras are truly amazing. I know for me, I'm not really a camera operator myself, but I like to still understand and love the technology that goes behind them and have the appreciation of what that camera can actually do with the versatile different types of lenses that you have as well. So, yeah.
Because I feel like, I think it sort of ties in with the whole like perfectionist like epidemic. It's like, I think AI has become so big because it makes things perfect. Yeah. Exactly what you want. And in my personal opinion, I feel like when AI starts getting used too much, especially in like fields that we're in, like graphic design and film production, it's like it all stems from creativity. It's all practical.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially with the like script writing as well, it's all practical. And I feel like when you start using AI, like the core of the job just sort of goes away.
Yeah.
For me, it's like the fun of the fun of the job and the fun of the process is from the struggle that comes with being in that block and not knowing what you're going to do and just trying things out and experimenting, or if you've had a block with sort of writing
persevering,
stuff, which I'm guessing you would have had loads of like creative blocks when it's come to screenwriting and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Once you start using AI a bit more, it's just like, I think in people's heads, because they know AI is there, do you think it will become like a thing in some people where it's like, because AI is there, they're just not going to put much effort into it anyway, because they know they've got that little helping hand, which I know you can.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, me personally, I've always felt like there's no problem in using it, but I just feel like once you start using something that's not yours, it doesn't become yours there.
They have at the moment, I don't know if it's in this country, but definitely in America, I believe, that they have some schools where they're teaching children and they don't actually have human teachers. They actually have AI teachers. And these kids are there on like these tablets and touchscreen computers, and they are just learning from AI. And they've turned around and they found from some results that some of them are actually doing better, some of them, and other people are actually doing worse. And I think that just comes down to, how someone as a human being, how they actually, identify to be able to how they want to learn. Obviously before AI really came into it, there are some of us that are more visual learners. There are other people who are more reading. So, you read and take things in better when you've read things. So that is a little bit scary in terms of that, because as they grow up, how are they going to understand a lot more of that human emotion of who we are as a race? Because if they can't actually grow up and just be kids and actually being able to be exposed to all the different emotional things that are on that spectrum, well, they're going to grow up to be robots, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
You're being taught by a robot, you're going to be a robot, aren't you? At the end of the day. It's what you are exposed to. It's like whatever we're exposed to, in terms of whatever your hobbies are, whether that is football. Yes, I do enjoy football. And
I'm also, for my sins, a big fan.
Yes. And I also enjoy, martial arts and those things, but I also enjoy gaming and all that. So I'm quite versed in the big field of what I do enjoy, or what I was been exposed to, like growing up. If I'm just exposed to just the technology of everything that's actually there, I'm not going to really understand other facets of human life and stuff. You may want to be able to know what it's like to do welding or something. For example, you might want to do woodwork. You might want to actually go out and do some outdoor activities when we're growing up. obviously football was quite big in this country for
Yeah, of
sure.
course.
Rugby was one of the team sports that I played mostly, and I was exposed more to rugby because I think that's more in terms of like the family background I have with that, and just ended up going a bit more down that route. So I do think it's important us as human beings, we still need to be human and not be more like AI.
Yeah, of course. So I think like same like going back to like the football side of thing, it's sort of like things that completely encapsulate your life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it's like I find the best, as bad as it is in some instances, the best creators and the best like producers of media and of film and stuff are the people who have really felt that emotion at its height.
Yes.
And it's like they're not they know how to express it using their work, and they're not afraid to.
Yes.
And it's their like their way of expressing it. Of course, it's their way of putting the the pure heights of human emotion onto the screen for the audience to then
visually watch, to intake, to absorb it, isn't it, as well? And it's it's also portraying a piece that people can think, do you know what, I can relate to that, or it's a case of like I haven't quite understood something. However, this film has exposed me to learning something more. Like, for example, if there was like a film on like PTSD, or war film and stuff, and then someone is suffering from PTSD, people could potentially, like I mentioned earlier, people are more, can either be more of learners for reading, and other people are more visual learners. Someone who's a visual learner would understand it a lot more on screen, and that they would really think, you know what, I can relate to exactly what that person's going through, or now I know what that PTSD actually is, so I know what they're actually going through.
If you end up going into obviously producing and directing films, what sort of films would you want to make? Are they the sort of things you want to go into in terms of displaying like human emotion and like reality and stuff like that in like a genre sense?
Yeah, I think definitely whatever genre of type of film you want to create, I think it's definitely important to display the emotions that you want, because you want to make the audience care about your characters that you're trying to portray on screen. I'd say a good example, James Gunn, brilliant director, brilliant writer. A lot of things that he does, he writes and he directs. And you can almost take Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. He literally makes you care about a character within the first few minutes of when you see them, of just how he writes, of just how he directs, when he works with his DP and the other camera departments as well, and even in the editorial room as well. He makes you care about that character. He made you care about a tree. He made you care about a tree.
Yeah.
He made you care about a raccoon.
A raccoon, yeah.
Exactly. He made you care about an elite assassin in space.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd be scared out of your mind, about an assassin. Like, why would I care about someone that actually kills people? But you ultimately end up caring for these characters. And then it becomes quite, character driven. And it's that portrayal of that sort of style that does resonate with me, definitely. Christopher Nolan, for example, as well. He writes a lot of his films. He produces a lot of his films alongside his wife as well.
It was exactly who was going through my head then when you were talking. Like
100%. I mean, he's produced. His very first film that he produced was the Batman Begins. That was his first film he produced.
Was that before Memento?
With his no, he produced Memento. But what I meant is that his startup production company that he had.
Yeah, of course.
That was his first film for his production company, which you think that's insane for your first film for a production company.
You're doing a comic book movie.
You're doing a comic book movie.
Yeah.
That literally everyone knows Batman.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh my God, what? And it's just, it did really, really well. And obviously then you had the next Batman up from that. Obviously he did some other films like Interstellar, for example. That is an emotional roller coaster of a film. Perception of time and space as well. You can really understand of how he's written it as well, was trying to get you to think about the laws of physics that are actually there as well, and actually understand the emotional trauma of what these characters go through.
It feels like in his films there's not one aspect of the world that gets missed out.
Yeah.
He genuinely just manages to get every single aspect.
His world building is immense.
Yeah.
Is immense. It really is. And it's like, say, it's like him, James Gunn, definitely. Obviously, when I was younger, obviously George Lucas, like massive world building. For me, I do enjoy that world building aspect of stories, and characters, or certain characters, play a central role within that story, of whatever story that is, and it projects out into like a tree of everything and so many possibilities. You know, Star Wars has created many, many spin-offs. There's actually there as well. Some of the people are thinking, you know what, I just want to make a trilogy of films and stop it there. You could almost take how Gilroy wrote Rogue One, and he's literally written Andor and Andor Season 2. Obviously, there's some controversial people that may not love the taste for the Andor seasons, but they're actually there. But it's a wonderful new take when you look at that emotional spectrum.
Yeah.
And you can really see every step of the story from Andor, from the supporting characters, actually there from start to finish. And you end up, it makes you keep second guessing of what's actually happening to certain characters that you don't know what's going on. Of course, we know what happens with Andor at the very end of Rogue One. I won't put any spoilers out there if you haven't seen it. But yeah, you go through a bit of a roller coaster with all these people. Some you end up thinking to yourself, wow, what a way to end that arc. And I couldn't turn around and pinpoint anyone where I thought, I disagree with that character. Every beat of how that was written and how that was portrayed on screen, beautiful. And that's just obviously my own opinion, but other people may have different opinions.
I was a massive fan. I've watched season 1, and I mean, it was like in the middle of this year, so you're thinking I'm here most days.
Yeah.
And I binged it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Which is probably rookie numbers compared to some people, especially Star Wars fans. But I remember watching Rogue One, and
are you more of a binger, or are you more of a case of when an episode comes out, you have that excitement of waiting till next week, and then you have that speculation of talking about what just happened in those episodes?
100%. But I think I'm not really. I've never been like I've always like loved films and TV shows. I've always found. I've always been really picky, like trying to find what genre I've wanted. So everything that's already out, you know, there's never really been many shows that have been talked about, and then I think me personally, I like knowing other people's opinions before I watch it.
Yeah,
but that's just me. So I wish I wasn't like that. So it's like once I know it's good and I'm like, right, I feel like I'll like this, then I'll watch it.
Let me put something to you then.
Okay.
Is there a case of like, say for example, is there a movie that you would like to see that you know is coming out this year? Is there a movie that you know that you like to see that's coming out this year?
I would have said Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Would have been one. That was one that, like, as it was coming out, I was like, yeah, like, release date.
Wonderful film, by the way. Folks.
Yeah, it's great.
Wonderful
Yeah, Marvel is back. let's be real with that. But yeah, apart from this year, there was. I really don't think there has been any. The only things, I think the only show.
What about Superman?
I've never really watched DC.
Okay.
So, and I feel like I'd just be too late. I'd have to sort of start from the start. But I know it's more like it's a whole new.
Here's a new
stories
take of
now.
It. It's a brand new take.
Yeah.
DC is taking a brand new route moving forward.
Yeah.
This is their very first film underneath a co-production of James Gunn. And I do apologise. I forget the other man's name, so I do apologise. But it's the very stepping stone that is moving forward. Technically, they had Creature Commandos in animation, which I highly recommend. Very, very funny. Again, emotionally rich characters that you care about. You care about a robot. You care about a fish lady. You care about a weasel. Like, how do I care about these people that you're thinking, why would I care about them?
Yeah.
Even Frankenstein's in it, and he is hilarious, played by David Harbour. Truly funny, truly funny. Anyway, I would recommend, if you want to try and get into trying to watch DC, maybe just watch the very first trailer that came out of it. just to see the flavour.
I've seen the trailer. It does look brilliant.
I would then stay away from teaser trailers and the rest of the trailers. That's what I do. If there's a film I really want to watch, I'll watch the very first trailer they bring out, and I won't watch any of the trailers. I then won't read any comments of what people have criticised about the film, because I want to go into the film and experience it fresh, clean of mind, that I haven't got other people's opinions that have tried to influence my thoughts, thinking, oh, it's going to be good, oh, it's going to be bad. I want to go in there fresh and experience it with my own opinion.
Yeah,
and I've watched it completely at the end of the day. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of film productions actually want from their audiences, is maybe not read the reviews of films until you've gone to see it.
Yeah, of course.
Go and watch it yourself. Form your own opinion when you've just watched the entire thing. You're thinking, actually, I really actually enjoyed that, before you go and read a review of something. Of course, it's like you can't necessarily compare it with thinking, I want to buy a product, you know. Let's just say a camera, right? I want to buy a brand new camera. I don't know which one to go for. I'm going to read all the reviews of which camera to buy. This is the best camera fit for me. I'm going to stay away from these other cameras because it's got very, very bad reviews, so I'm going to go for this one. You want to go to the movies and you're exposed to all these films actually they're being portrayed at your cinema. Which one do I choose? Well, the review for that one is this, the review for that one's that, and for that one. So you end up favouring one more than the other. But if you go to a cinema and think, I want to watch all of these films because I've not read any reviews at all, you can start on whichever one you want. Pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Whichever way you want to go. But I do think if everyone went back to the reality of when you wanted to go and watch a film at cinema, watch it for what it is. Engage with that storytelling, what they're trying to portray on there, what the people behind those creatives are trying to influence you with their story, what they're trying to make you think about when you're going through it. Some are literally a case of like an action film. They just want you to just go in and just enjoy the action that you see on film.
It's just everything's so intense.
Just like, wow, it's intense. It's all in my face. And it's like, I want more of that, you know? I'd say a nice example, I mean, this is at home because it went straight onto Disney+. Predator, Killer of Killers, right? I watched that very, very recently. An incredibly wonderful animated film and a different concept, obviously, on the idea of Predator. You get almost like 3 mini stories combined into one, but they fuse into the one story near the end. And it opens up a whole new world of thinking, wow, they've just totally blown this out of the water. And how that is written and how it's shown on screen, you're thinking, I want to see more, please. I want to see times of when it happens in Egypt. I want to see it at the Roman Colosseum, all those different places. And yeah, you think the world's your oyster in some ways, because it gets fans speculating, thinking, oh my God, they could do this. Oh my God, they could do that. But then when you see a little trailer of something come out, watch the little trailer and then stop. Go to your cinemas and watch it for what it is. Read the reviews afterwards. And then you can form your own better opinion.
That's why I think film is so powerful, because every singular person's experience of watching that film is completely unique to them. And it's like their whole life and their values and their, what they love and what they don't.
Yeah.
All ties into their full experience of watching that film, and then how they take that into their life afterwards.
Absolutely.
And be like,
people, please go to your cinemas and go and watch it there. Because literally sometimes there's nothing better than watching that on that big screen. You get all the exposures of all the sounds. That makes up 70% of your film. 70% of your film is made up of sound. That's what really grips you at your core, like thunders you into your chest, makes you feel electrified and feel alive when you're watching it, because it makes you feel like you're actually there, like in person, like almost like watching it from almost like a POV point of view. Definitely just go to your cinemas and watch it. If it's straight to stream, like Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus, Apple, great, fine, watch it at home, obviously. but you're watching it without reading a review on something first because you're going into it fresh.
There's no demand characteristics in your experience whatsoever.
Yes.
You're going into it and it's completely your experience. It's not, someone else's opinion tying into your experience, because it can make a big change.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
I mean, it's like there are people that want to stream some of these films, illegally and all this other stuff as well, and try and watch it for free. Come on, these guys, everyone from the top of the stream, executive producers, all the way down to the runners, they have put their heart and soul, no matter what they did on that set and what they did in pre-production, post-production, all the way through that project. They put that time, that effort to earn a living. And yet when people don't pay for, say, a prescription or subscription, not prescription, didn't realise about the doctors, even going into the cinema, you are paying to say, thank you for letting me watch your creativity. You wouldn't want to go and say, I'm going to go and get, a car, for example, and you say, oh, I'm going to pay that on finance, whatever have you, but all of a sudden you don't make your payment for so many months and you just keep all of a sudden keeping that car away and stuff. It's just dishonest, isn't it? People end up doing that with music. I don't want that to happen to music because, like I said, people are putting that time, that energy to display a creativity that they want you to enjoy, and they obviously in return you're paying for that enjoyment.
I think that's what I mean. A big part for me always in films has been the music. Like for me personally, I've always thought the music in films is the best part, and there's nothing better than being in that cinema screening with all the big speakers. Like you were saying, like everyone's put so much effort and so much thought and detail into the music and the emotion they want you to feel, and obviously the sound as well. And for me, that's like the films that I like personally. Obviously, a lot of like Nolan films, because thankfully he had Hans Zimmer on a lot of his.
100%. I mean, Hans Zimmer. The first time I remember hearing his work, and quite a few people around my age might know. If you ever watch The Lion King, a lot of that is Hans Zimmer. And he actually did that for his daughter, funnily enough.
Yeah.
He literally did that for his daughter. That's the first time I heard anything Hans Zimmer. And I thought, even back then when I was a kid, I thought, I love that music. And that's going to stay with me. And he's, created so many big projects and, quite rightly done a lot of things with Christopher Nolan. He has, 100%. I mean, collaborated a lot. Is he doing it on this new project as well? I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. I haven't had time. I've been trying to get the rest of my studies finished. But you obviously you as a creative, when you get to a certain stage, like above the line, where you're like producer, director, even DPs, you end up finding out the certain people that you want to work with. You like their creativity, you like their process, you like their reliability, and you think, I can just go to them for anything.
Yeah.
And they're always open for that collaboration. And it's like networking all the time. You find all those different types of people. If someone is not available for a certain project, someone else that you can turn around and depend on. I know I'm just slightly going off subject there, but for film, 100% networking is incredibly important. Like incredibly important. Collaboration is important.
Yeah.
If there's someone that you believe can get you out of a jam and think, they've got the skill to help me do that, it would be wonderful to turn around and give them a quick message, just like, got this issue, are you right to help me? Yeah, no problem.
What opportunities have you had within your course to network and collaborate with other people, especially like the networking stuff? Like people, have you had industry people come in and talk to you about their experiences and how to be successful on the outside?
Well, we had someone named Joe. I've unfortunately forgotten his surname, so I do apologise. But he used to be a student here, and he actually went on to do his masters at the National Film and Television School. And he came back and expressed, what I just said. Networking is incredibly important. Obviously, we as creatives, we're all our own biggest critic as well. We always want to deliver the most best result possible. He ended up watching a film that I produced, which is a working title at the moment, called The Root of All Evil, which I ended up producing last year. And helped with the sound on set. And we're hoping to obviously revisit it and do a remastered edit of it. And we got him to watch it, and it's nice to have someone who's actually, done quite a few films watch some work that you've done, because they will spot something that you haven't noticed yet. And he spotted quite a few things. We had to touch up things on a little bit of the color grading and stuff. A little bit of the sound in terms of like the use of music, like some of the music fit really well for the theme for the film. There are other types of music which didn't fit quite well. Some of the shots were a little bit too long for parts. Some of the shots we could actually use a few more angles, so giving that extra editorial choice. So you hear all these different opinions, and brutal opinions, which unfortunately us as filmmakers will always hear it. Like I mentioned, we touched earlier, critics will always have a look at your work and pick it to shreds.
Yeah,
basically.
I was going to say you strike me as the man who's just not like, when it comes to being critiqued, it really doesn't hit you hard. You'll just take everything in your stride and be like, right.
Well, this is I mean,
it's a pleasure actually. At the end of the day, you're always striving to be better. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, you will always hear negative things. You'll hear positive things, and yeah, it will touch you in the feels. Sure, I mean, yeah, I won't lie. I am human, and yeah, it does hit you in the feels at times, because other people see things that you're not seeing, and you live and learn from those experiences, like we do in life, like from failures and things. I was always told failure is sometimes our biggest teacher, and even when we don't fail and we feel like we're succeeding, we feel like we're doing right, sometimes you don't know if you're doing things well or not, unless people are turning around and screaming to the roof saying, congratulations, you're doing incredibly well, and you end up thinking, oh my God, you've won awards or things like that. You have some of these big directors and producers. I'll bring up Christopher Nolan one more time, won an Oscar and things as well. If God forbid, I pray as a wish and a dream, if I ever won an Oscar, I'd probably still end up thinking, am I still doing a good job or not? Yeah, because I'm one of those people where I end up thinking to myself, you second guess yourself a little bit sometimes, but you almost feel a bit disbelief, thinking, wow, this is actually happening. And you're feeling incredibly proud and privileged that all the right things are happening. And if it's like where you're going in that direction, I think probably like one of the most influential filmmakers that really inspired me is actually the actor Denzel Washington. He has a great outlook on life. Him as a person, his work ethic, the way he carries himself, I truly aspire to.
It's quite funny because I've genuinely always said my favourite actor's Denzel Washington.
Of course.
I don't know what, he just stands apart from everyone else.
He's like the holy grail of acting, isn't he, really? People can almost compare him as like, oh, he is the, I don't want to bring religion to it, but Jesus version of, of acting, I mean, the man hasn't had to audition for so many decades, and he just gets offered part after part.
I mean, when people write a role specifically for you, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't remember where I saw this interview, but I know he did an interview with someone. He desperately wants to work with Christopher Nolan, and I know Christopher Nolan did some work with his son and stuff, and I'm like, 100% get those two on a project together.
Yeah,
because I would love to see that. I mean, God forbid, I don't want Denzel Washington to ever retire. I mean, of course, anyone wants to retire whenever they want to, but I think he's the embodiment of, in terms of the work ethic that I aspire to be, and who I actually, want to continue to actually get to those types of levels. He's always talks about, it's like wherever you're going, moving forward, it's also about who you picking up with you and who you taking with you forward when you're trying to do that. You're not thinking selfishly about yourself. You're thinking about those people that you have collaborated with, and you've got that reliability on people, like I mentioned earlier, and you're pulling them up with you, thinking, come with me, we're going in this direction, and we're going to make something even bigger. We're going to make something better. We're going to bring something that is more world stage, that is more, in the public eye, and really celebrate your skill set and turn around and say, you had a hand in this. And that's what, obviously, I just want to aspire to keep going forward all the time and doing that. I definitely say out of film, my biggest supporters are definitely my parents and my brother, and definitely my grandparents, who are unfortunately no longer with us today. Definitely say it's hard when people come and go all the time, but they also leave you life lessons that you learn by and that you live by. And I made a promise to my grandfather on his deathbed that I will make it to Hollywood, and I will. And I'm determined. Whether anyone actually believes that I can do it or not, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger always said, people always disbelieved that a man from Austria, from a bodybuilding background, could get to Hollywood, speak English, and deliver great action films. One of the biggest action films of all time. He goes on to become a governor in the United States, and he holds bodybuilding expos over the world and all those things. The world's his oyster, and wherever he goes, he brings smiles. It's things like that I definitely want to just try to get to. That's where I aspire to be. And I'd love to turn around and thinking, I've actually helped bring the UK, put it on the map in terms of a case of, yes, we may be across the pond, but we're also aiding and collaborating with people that are over there in Los Angeles, in New York, in America, where we are working in that environment. Oceans, mountains will not stop us from collaborating with each other, Yeah, we're different nationalities and all that other stuff. We may share different ideologies and things, but what's our same goal? Our same goal is to create great cinema and give something that audiences actually really want to watch, really get excited, thinking, I want to come away from what's happening in my own reality. I need a break from it. I want to go away on a holiday, whatever have you. Great, wonderful. But do you want a cheaper holiday? Do you want to come and actually watch something exciting for a few hours where you can sit, relax, have some popcorn, have a drink, and talk about it with your friends and your loved ones afterwards? That's what I want to deliver.
What was the catalyst for you in pursuing this career? What was your... Obviously, you spoke about your life beforehand when you were working in... what was it again, sorry?
Retail, as a retail manager.
Yes, of course. So what changed in your life for you to finally pursue this dream?
Well,
that you're going to make a reality?
When I was working in, obviously, as manager for quite a number of years, I would end up working 10 to 12-hour days, sometimes 5-6 days a week. Now, I'm not adverse to, working hard. I've always been a hard worker, and I always put my graft in. But, when you're only getting technically paid 39 hours a week, and all those extra hours that you're doing you're not getting paid for, you're wasting years of your life when you add all of those hours. And you're also missing time away from loved ones, friends, family, occasions, birthdays, even funerals that you end up missing. And there is an element when you end up thinking to yourself, there has got to be something better to life than what you're living. Because I think no matter what job we're all doing, there may be a job that you may be doing that you don't really want to do. And you look at yourself and you end up thinking, I want to do something different, which I did want to do something different. I just didn't know what at the time. And then I got struck with a very bad illness in my stomach. And my intestines weren't working properly. And I got hospitalized for a while. And it made you really think about life, and made you thinking to yourself, well, I want to do something different. And you lie there and you you're making notes and you're watching movies or you're trying to entertain yourself and pass the time, you think, well, what do I do? And then I think it was like a conversation with my mom, I believe, where it's like, like, oh, you're always like quite creative. You always love, storytelling and things like that. And my dad had even piped in, turned around and said, well, you like film and other things as well. And, just got me thinking, well, why not do filmmaking? So I thought, well, how do I get into it? I tried researching, thinking, can I get into it, going to university or not? I did try to go down, not going to university, and it was more difficult for me to kind of like open those doors and things like that.
Was that like for like just like internships and stuff?
Yeah, well, it's like I say, it's like internships and other things like that. It was just trying to get some exposure on sets. I mean, I did manage to get onto a set which kindly the writer allowed me to go onto. I'm not allowed to say where it was.
That's fine.
But I was allowed.
We keep a lot of secrets in this room.
Yeah, but I managed to go there for a few days. I did meet some of these top stars. Again, not allowed to say who they are, and it was really really nice. And that's one thing as well in film. Keep the confidentiality, people. Make sure you are the most trustworthy person they've ever met.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed what I was seeing and things. Yes, it looked a bit chaotic and other things, and the environment felt a little bit similar to obviously, in terms of retail, but every environment was different. One moment you are outside, the next minute you're inside. So.
But it's fast paced.
It was fast,
and there's no room for slacking at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was fast paced, but it was like structured as well. There was excitement in it as well, and it gave me a bit of actual buzz as well. And think to myself, wow, this is great. And obviously, the more I looked into it, the more I thought, well, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. But at the end of the day, nothing is ever given to us as people. We have to work for anything that we have. You can't be a person who is like, oh, gimme, just thinking to yourself, I want this at start A, and then you hear it Z. Oh, great, wonderful, I've got it. But it's all about that journey in between. It's like
that's where everything happens at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think the unfortunate thing is that a lot of people these days are quite entitled to thinking, it's like, I want this, give it me now. Life don't work like that, unfortunately.
I'm not going to argue against that.
Unfortunately, unless it's turned around, it's a case of like, oh, I have so much, wealth to do that. Great, yeah, you can have it right now. Wonderful. But otherwise, literally every single person on this planet, we have to work for what we've got. And hard work, don't ever shy away from it, folks. Please don't. But yes, I ended up looking into what kind of universities to go into as well. And I did think about going to London and things like that, and all those different things, making that move and all that as well. I do have a bit of an anxiety in terms of like, being exposed to huge cities and other things like that, and feeling a little bit like of a fish out of water sometimes. But over time, I've developed a bit more of a backbone with that, and been able to suppress it a bit more as well. So I'm not averse to going to big cities, people.
Is it about seeing it in a different perspective? Is it like you can look at it, because everyone's the same, and I used to look at it, and then I used to think, I just need to channel it.
Yeah,
I need to channel those nerves that I'd get in an environment for that. For just, it's a survival instinct at the end of the day. Use it and survive and adapt in that, and just use it as more like a thrill.
Exactly.
Take it as a thrill and be like, oh yeah, the nerves are there, but
But I'm using it as a tool.
Of course, yeah, and they're there for a reason, and it's what I mean. It's a pleasure to feel that, because that's what I mean. It's just like a survival instinct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did think, that might be right for me, but then I ended up finding out that nearby home, the WCUC was around, and that they've been doing film. So I came in and had a look, and it's a small but very, very family-field university centre.
Yeah.
And I think for me, especially with someone who has some anxiety, that it really helps relax you.
Yeah, 100%.
But you do feel on edge a bit, deadlines, everything like that. I mean, of course, as a university, you can have deadlines and all these different things and all that as well. But it has that real close bondness where you have a smaller class of people. You work more closely with the tutors. You can literally get access to them like so quickly. You're not as a case of, you 1 minute you speak to your tutor there in person one day, you send them an email, can I meet up with you? I can't meet you in several weeks' time. Wait, that's too late, that's past my deadline. Now I'm freaking out, I don't know what to do. No, these guys are turning around as a case of, we'll email you on the same day or the next day. They will also let you know when they are not available, in terms of like, they've gone away and have holiday. We all need a holiday, folks, we all do. It's natural. But they'll always let you know when they're not available. But they'll always do their very best to help you in any way they can, literally. Subject lead to Claire Lapworth, she is truly incredible of how she delivers all these courses out here, for film, social media, motion graphics. Even we all collaborate with Games Art, that is literally down the corridor as well. They do phenomenal stuff down there as well. We're at a place where Games Art are in a very, very good position, because literally in the same area, they're exposed to quite a lot of the Games Art studios that go out worldwide, especially like Ubisoft, for example. So we all end up having a little bit of touch basis with different fields of other creatives that are actually out there. So it's not just film, it's social media, like I've said, Games Art, motion graphics. Whereas if I went to the film, like school film, like London, whatever have you, I'm just exposed to everything film.
Yeah.
I'm exposed to quite a few different parameters, which is quite incredible. Obviously, it's not obvious, but it is now when I say it. The film here, though, is merging with the social media group.
Yeah.
So it will be more focused with social media. However, people can still come onto this course and still, talk with a tutor, and they can actually try to tailor it to what you really want to get out of it in some ways. So it's like for a capstone, for example, which is like your final project, basically, before you leave here. Some of the students that are in, my year, some of them focused on creating a short film. Some of us focused on just a script. For me, obviously I did producing like last year, and I did, quite a bit of camera work for work experience, and I wanted to do something directorial as well. However, I wanted to take a little bit of a different change of approach, so I ended up writing a feature-length script, which is titled The Conscripted. So if you remember that and title that, and it comes out in a film next year, you know where it comes from. So I created a treatment for that. I wrote character profiles as well. I even dabbled with After Effects to create a short animated sequence, which is on my Instagram if you want to follow. That's Chris_MYV. Just request and I'll accept you, and you can follow me back. Get a plug in there, Jack.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Normally it comes at the end, but like I said, it's in your control there.
Plug it in wherever you want. Plug it in wherever you want. But yeah, I did that, and I also did a pitch for the film, like trying to tailor it to investors or like production companies. Just to tailor the idea first. Not necessarily exactly how much it would cost to make and all that as well. I know that the film that I wrote is a little bit extravagant in some ways. There would be elements of like special and visual effects in the beginning. There will be little bits in the middle as well, and partly at the end there would be one of the characters would be in a motion capture suit as well, representing like a robot. You think, conscripted robot, what's going on? Yep, you can ask me for more if you want, and I'll let you know. And then
I think the mystery's the best part, actually. My imagination's running already.
Yeah, this is it. And you end up thinking scripted, you're thinking war film and other things like that. You're like, yeah, it's along those lines. But there's more to it, And I delivered that. My tutors thought it was a really, really good pitch. They thought the world building that I put for it was incredible. I took real life events of what's happening in our current day, understanding what's happening politically and what's happening in other countries, what their views are and things, and where the way it could potentially happen in the future. So I'm not going to think, oh, I predicted everything like, the creator of The Simpsons and it comes to life already and stuff. So I'm not aiming for that. It's literally just a creative piece. That's all it is. I'm not saying anything that happens in that film is definitely going to happen. It's literally like you could think it's a multiverse. It's a different facet of like our world. It's in a different reality. So if you think of it that way and try not to think of it as like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. Think of it, oh, it's a different reality, and that's where it's going to go. But I went down that direction, and you as a student, if you come here and you still end up thinking to yourself, I want to do film. However, there's not really anywhere else around where near I live where I can do film. But the WCUC is the closest thing for it. There are tutors here who will be able to deliver that for you, 100%. Subject leader Claire Lapworth will definitely help you. Tutor/technician Mike Herndon, he's great. He also used to study here as well. He also studied at the country university as well. He's very good at everything tech, like incredible. Like the amount of knowledge that man has for technology is insane. I'm so impressed with everything that he knows with technology. He literally can turn around and say something and he knows something about it, or he'll go, do you know what? I will go out and find out how to do it. You've got Geraldine, I call her Jez. She is truly wonderful with Illustrator and After Effects as well. Obviously, Jack. She's taught you.
Jez is my tutor.
Now. Yeah,
2 years I've had for now, and it's been great.
Yeah, and she's been almost like a second mum in some ways.
A lot of people say that about her.
I'm saying that now, Jez. So if you hear that, literally like Jack says, everyone says that about you. So yeah, it's like Claire. She's almost like a second mum as well. We kind of like call her. I think it's like me and my friend Maya. We call her like Claire Bear and stuff because she's like quite caring and things and really understands. We all go through things in life and stuff like that. So. A lot of these tutors are like there and always like an extra ear to hear by. Like I mentioned, they were always there at the back of their hand. They were always quite quick to respond as well. Like how many people in the UK or whichever country can turn around and say, I can actually rely on my tutor just to actually just have a conversation about something you're struggling with and you don't know how to do it, and they just offer a little bit of like advice, and it's nice when you have that. And then you got obviously Laura as well. She's incredibly good with her documentaries. She's done a lot of that in her previous past as well. Where she goes on with doing documentaries as well as being a tutor is truly incredible. She's a young mum of two, and the amount of vision that she has for documentaries is really, really good. She opened up my eyes to documentaries. I'm someone who doesn't always watch documentaries a lot myself, but she exposed me to quite a few documentaries which I really watched and actually listened to, absorbed more, able to open my eyes up to what to actually look for in terms of creating documentaries as well. So that really helped me with my process in my module for documentaries, and I hope it turned out okay, fingers crossed. And I definitely think, there may be more tutors actually here. The games art tutors that are here as well, they're always, back of their hand. They're always there for their students whenever they need them as well. Truly incredible place here, honestly. Yeah. And I definitely recommend it if people want to have access to equipment fast, to be able
and the quality of the equipment as well.
Yeah.
That we've got here that we can utilise is.
100%. They've got the Blackmagic cameras that are actually there as well. Using DaVinci Studio combined with that, obviously Blackmagic, DaVinci Studio go hand in hand. The lighting setup as well, this green screen room, which, yes, this is where we're now doing this podcast. They've got backdrops for a white background, black background, which we can swap and change in and out. We've got a little editing suite as well, which quite a few students end up using as well. It's a free screen setup, so a lot of people they love that as well.
It's just like a bit of a small space, isn't it? Just for yourself to get away from things and just be like, right, I need this. In here, but obviously the editing suite.
Yeah, and they've obviously got these podcasting booths that they've built as well. So we're trying to get those up and running as well. So stay tuned for that, people. I mean, that's going to come thick and fast, and that will do really big wonders for the social media piece moving forward with their courses that are going here as well. So a lot of different facets of equipment that actually got here as well. Plus as well, if you ever need any types of equipment or you want to recommend anything to your tutors or for this course, just ask them, and they'll actually see what they can do with their budget, and they will try to be as very accommodating as possible. That's the type of people that they are. They always end up looking at their budget, and they try to do the best that they can for the students that's actually there.
For all the tutors here, it really feels like a vocation to all of them. It's not just a job for them. It's like the passion that they put into it, and it really does feel like a vocation to them,
definitely.
and like that does reflect in the support that the whole university centre gets, and the higher education stuff. Obviously, us in creative technologies, and
100%. You also have we have our own little mini common room literally around the corner from us. It's a private room. You have to use a pass key to get in and out, so it's only exposed just to us. Lovely pool table in there, a couple of TVs that you can throw on, link your phone to it, watch films. They've even got a little gaming section in the corner, which games I've put up. Every console that you can ever think of. Incredible.
Well, we're going back some years as well.
Yeah.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
Years and years.
Yeah, I mean, you got you've got your Nintendo 64s there, GameCubes. I think you've even got Sega there as well. I mean, I remember Sega and Sonic and all that, definitely. But you got all your PlayStations. Literally every console you can think of is all connected up to this one TV. So no matter what you're kind of in the mood for, you can bring your game along and just start playing, mingle, have fun and things. When you're here as a student, talk to your other students as well, collaborate with each other, talk with each other.
It's the perfect place to just express yourself. I think everyone would say the same as well. There's honestly nowhere to hide, and it's great. You've always got people there around you that are always.
I mean, you even have accommodation here as well. It's like a couple of students. There's a lot this place can actually offer, and so many people can just come in and visit. And even if it's just a case of you're only thinking, you may have heard this today, thinking, you know what, I'm curious. A university course that has, a small class, I can talk to my tutors pretty much nearly whenever I want if I've got a question. They'll get back to me in a few hours. That's great, because then almost it's a case of you feel like you're not stumbling or stopping. You can't keep moving forward. They're there. So you can end up moving forward, keep going, and get the best quality work out of yourself. That's ultimately what they want from you, and ultimately that's what you're paying for, technically.
Yeah. You have reached the end of A World in Film Part 1. We hope you have enjoyed, and we can't wait to bring you Part 2. To find out more about the courses on offer here at Warwickshire College University Centre, please visit www.wcuc.ac.uk. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.